Thank you, Rib Furman. Thank you so much. That was a beautiful song. And welcome. Thank you, everyone, for being here today in community. We join together in community. We come together. We come together. Remember that song? We come together. Where's Donna? Where'd she go? She's back there. And that's your mother, huh, Donna?
That's definitely my mother.
I just realized today that that's your mother. Wow. What an amazing duo you are. How beautiful it is to have both of you in community here. Yes. And let's give Donna a hand. Isn't she talented? I'm going to get up and harmonize with him. And you did such a beautiful job at that. And thank you for inviting me to join you in singing that other song.
I may pick on you again sometime.
I will love to be picked on in that way. Yes. So today we're talking about a subject near and dear to my heart, which is called leading from the heart. Leading from the heart, which is really to me what true leadership is all about. Leading from the heart, not from the head, not from the ego, not from a grasping of power, but leading from the heart, which means I lead as a servant leader. I lead as someone who is serving. I lead, when I was a president of the board, when I first came into this teaching, and the first center I was a part of, and I was president of the board, and so my joke was that when I became president of the board, I thought I should be able to tell someone what to do. Because I'm now president of the board, I should be able to tell someone what to do, and in reality, this is my joke, it's not quite true, but it was somewhat true and funny. In reality, after I got into the position, I said, oh, as president, everyone tells me what to do. And actually, that was the beauty of it. The beauty of it was, as the president, I was in the position that I could really serve people. Everyone knew on Sunday, even if it was something like there's no toilet paper in the bathroom, they knew that I would know how to fix it. That I knew, you know what I mean? Like I knew who to talk to, or where the supplies are, or I was in a position to serve people. Not in a position to be over people, not in a position to get people to do what I want them to do. I was in a position to serve people. Years ago, I read somewhere, and I really took it to heart, and I really stayed with that. I read somewhere, because a lot of times we think of CEOs, right? Like the chief executive officer of a corporation. We think of those as people with a lot of power, and you know, if you go have a meeting with them, you should be quivering in your seat, right? And afraid, because there's this powerful person sitting before you. But this article was so interesting because it said a really good CEO will put you at ease immediately when you sit before them. And I thought, now that is someone I would follow as a leader. Someone who's going to immediately put a person at ease when they sit down. And I've always kept that in mind whenever I'm in any kind of leadership role. How accessible can I be? How much can I allow someone to be at ease in my presence, as opposed to I'm intimidating someone or I'm imposing over someone. So leading, for me, especially leading from the heart, involves inspiring. It involves inspiring rather than controlling. Rather than saying, how can I control people? How can I get them to do what I want them to do? It's more like, how can I be a visionary? And how can I inspire people? And how can I empower people? That's a lot what a leader is to me. It's like, oh, something wants to happen. You want to make it happen, and it's your role to make it happen. How can I support you? So it's essentially, heart-centered leadership is kind of letting go of the ego. And it's being a little bit more selfless. And it was interesting as I contemplated that word selfless, because I think from my view, we've misunderstood what selfless means. Because I think sometimes we've interpreted selfless to mean I put everything else before me. And I don't worry about myself. And I just care about everyone else. But we all know if we've done that, if we've tried that, it just wears us out. So I think selfless is not putting everything else before ourselves. Selfless means it's more of an add. It's more of an add-on than it is a subtraction. It's more like, it's not like, oh, instead of taking care of myself, I'll take care of everyone else. That's not healthy. It's an add-on. It means in addition to taking care of my needs and taking care of myself, which, by the way, allows me to support anyone. In the airplane, they say, put your mask on first. If you don't put your mask on first, and you're trying to help other people, you're only going to help one or two people, and then you're going to be done. So selfless leadership means, for me, that we take very good care of ourselves, and now we have so much to give that we go beyond just taking care of ourselves. So in other words, I'm not just thinking about me. I am thinking about me, and I am taking care of me, but I'm not just thinking about me, and I'm not just taking care of me. I go beyond that. I see how my actions, how what I do, how what I say impacts other people. And I'm aware of that, and I care. So heart-centered leadership is really caring deeply about others. Caring deeply about what others need and what they want and what their concerns are. It involves deep listening where we really hear each other. It involves being able to say, I messed up if we've messed up. It's very interesting when companies do something or their employees do something, and it's very interesting the different approaches to how that goes sometimes. And one of the approaches that happens, right, you get the company, the employees mess up, the company messes up, everyone knows they messed up, but their first response is from the PR department. And they put all the spin on it, right? Like, service is our utmost importance. Safety is our utmost importance. We care greatly about our customers. Everything we do is about our customers. It's like, you screwed up, dude. And the interesting thing about that is it never works, I don't think. And 2 weeks later, or a week later, they say what they could have said right up front. A week later or 2 weeks later, after all the bad press and everyone's criticizing, they go, okay, we messed up, we're sorry. And then it doesn't really have the same impact. But I love it because that's not how it always happens. I love it when companies or CEOs or leaders, they make a mistake and they immediately take responsibility for it. They immediately say, this should not have happened. This is not who we are. We're going to do everything we can to make sure it never happens again. And we are sorry for what we've done. Why not lead with that? Because that's where we're going to end up anyway. I read all that and I go, in 2 weeks you're going to be apologizing and mistake. Why not just do it now? It'll be more sincere. Because when you get it 2 weeks later, you know, well, you only did that because you were forced to. So how does that apply to us? I think it applies to us because we're all leaders. Sometimes we think there are those who are leaders, and then there's everyone else. But in reality, every one of us is a leader, particularly those of us in here who are consciously on a spiritual journey. Every one of us is a leader. The scripture in John says, as I be lifted up, shall draw all people unto me. So we're doing this spiritual work. We're drawing people to us. People want to know, what are you doing? Why do you look so peaceful when I'm all, whatever? How come you're always smiling? How come your life seems to be together? People want to know what it is you're doing. You're leading by doing the spiritual practice, by showing up in community here, taking care of yourself, being supported, allowing yourself to live a beautiful life. Every one of us is a leader. Every that leadership, whether it be in our family, whether it be in our community, whether it be out in the world or in our work or our job, or just when we walk into the supermarket. Just when we walk into the supermarket, things are happening all around us all the time. And our leadership is how we respond to those things that are happening. Our leadership is how we respond to those things that are happening. I remember one time I was in a supermarket, and the woman behind me, somehow her items, and she didn't have a lot of items, she had 4 or 5 items, somehow the cashier wrote up all her items with my order. And so I immediately, believing that everything is in divine order, I said, well, those things, I must have been meant to pay for those things. And the woman said, no, you don't have to pay for those. I said, no, I think it's divine order. It went on my order. I must be meant to pay for them. And finally she said, okay, if you really want to. And so I paid for them. And it turned out, because I was the board president of this community that had like 1,200 people. So pretty much because I was in front of people all the time, everyone knew me, but I didn't know everyone because there was a lot of them and just one of me. And so it turns out this woman was part of that community. And she was always remember, because leadership a lot of times is what we're doing when no one's looking, or when we think no one is looking, right? So in that situation, I could think, no one's looking, I'm just in the market, no one knows me here. And she said, you probably don't know me, but I know you. And I said, oh, how do you know me? And she said, oh, because I go to East Bay Church, where you go to. And she said, you know, I really love that you didn't know me, and you acted from this love and compassion. You modeled what I would want from the spiritual community that I'm a part of. And so here was a chance to touch someone's life. And, I mean, I thought it was nice that, I'm doing a generous act, but it was beyond that. It was like when no one was looking, you still were generous and kind and in the principle, knowing like, hey, all is in divine order, and therefore, when no one's looking, when we're by ourselves, when truly no one's looking, except for the microorganisms, or maybe the spider in the corner where we don't know. What are we doing when no one is looking? Are we still in that affirmative place that we're in when we come to the center here? With ourselves? Are we still saying, all is in divine order, all is well? What we're really here to do on this planet is to serve. That's really the only thing we're to do on this planet is to serve. And there's this, I think it was Michael Beckwith I first heard say it, that we're not here to save the world, we're here to serve the world. It takes the burden out of it. If we're here to save the world, then we feel burdened because we look at all the things going on in the world and we say, oh my God, I can't do anything. I'm just going to go home and take a nap. But if we realize that we're just here to serve the world, not save the world, serve the world, then we realize that all I have to do is what's right in front of me. What's mine to do right here, right now? How can I make a difference in the person's life right next to me, right in front of me, right behind me, right now? That's how we're serving the world. Don't be burdened thinking it's your job to save the world. It'll never happen and it'll kill you. You won't succeed anyway and it'll kill you in the process. Or you'll be very unhappy and feel very burdened. But if we just believe we're here to serve the world, the opportunities are all right there in front of us to serve the world. To smile at someone, that's serving the world. To embrace someone, that's serving the world. One of the practitioners in another community I work with in Santa Fe, New Mexico, told a story about she was in the supermarket one day. All happens in the supermarket. Pay attention in the supermarket. There's a lot going on in there.
And get script for us.
And get some script. But she was in the supermarket, and there was this young woman who was obviously in distress. And she was intuitive enough to approach this young woman, who was obviously really in distress, and say, "May I give you a hug?" She didn't know the woman. She said, "May I give you a hug?" And the woman said, "Yes, please." And as they embraced, this woman just held on to her like you wouldn't believe, and cried and sobbed uncontrollably for a couple minutes. Everyone in the supermarket in that radius right there, whatever, 10 feet, whatever, 15, 20 feet diameter, radius, whatever, saw that. That's leadership. That's serving the world. Everyone saw there's a different possibility. I don't have to turn my head when someone is in distress. I don't have to think, I can't do anything. I can ask, what could I do right now? Maybe you're not that outgoing where you could just go up to someone and say, "Hey, would you like a hug?" Or maybe you're not even a hugging kind of person. But you can say a prayer for them. You could just silently know that all is well with this person. Silently know that the divinity is right there, even in the midst of what's happening. Or we pass by a wreck on, a car accident on the freeway. We could just bless all who are concerned. I came upon, one time I was teaching practitioner class till 10 o'clock at night. I was in Davis, California, but I was living in Oakland, California. So I had about an hour drive home after the 10 o'clock class. And so I'm driving home 10 o'clock at night after the class. And I come upon an accident that literally just happened. And so there's an SUV literally totally turned over. And no one else is there yet. So I'm the first one. This literally just happened. So I'm the first one on the scene. No emergency vehicles, nothing. I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do, but this is what's in front of me. And so I pull over the car, and I walk over, and inside is a fairly young woman with a baby. And it's like, okay, I'm just being present. I'm just being guided. I'm just being led. And so I'm being present, and then a couple other motors stop as well. So now there's 3 or 4 of us there. And this woman's in great distress. And the interesting thing is there's nothing any of us did that actually helped on a physical level. We were like, well, should we turn the car over? I mean, we were coming up with ridiculous ideas, actually. We're like, well, should we try to get all of us were guys, and we're like, well, should we just try to turn the car back over? And then someone's like, no, that's going to cause a problem. So we're doing all these things, but the most important thing we did is we were there. We were present. And so while we were there and present, and all of us guys, we're trying to figure it out. We're the tinker, us men, we're like the tinkerers, right? We're going to figure it out. We're going to problem solve. While we're doing all that, the woman just crawled out of the car and grabbed her baby and crawled out. And it could appear that we did nothing to help. But what we did is we showed up. We showed up. And because we showed up, she knew she wasn't alone. And because she knew she wasn't alone, I think that is what actually empowered her to do what she needed to do. So we don't even necessarily need to know what to do or even do it. But we show up. And we just be present, and we ask ourselves, what is mine to do in this situation? Is it mine to offer a prayer? Is it mine to make a phone call? Is it mine to write a letter? There's always an answer after that. If we're just here to serve the world, then the smallest thing that we do will bring satisfaction to us and will make a difference for others. But if we're sitting there worrying about how am I going to save the world, how am I going to solve all these problems, all we're going to do is be frozen. And we won't do anything. Because we'll be like, well, this problem's way too big for me, I can't do anything. But if we say, I'm just going to serve the world, it's very different. It's like the story that probably many of us have heard of a man walking along the beach with another person, and there's all these starfish drying out and dying on the beach, like thousands of them. And the man picked up one and threw it back into the water, one that was still alive, and threw it back into the water. And the other person said, why did you do that? How's that going to make a difference? Because there's thousands of them there, and he just picked up one and threw it in the water. How's that going to help? And he said, I helped that one. I helped that one. I did something. Maybe you can't help all 1,000 of them, but you can help a few of them. You can help one of them. You can help a few of them. So this heart-centered leadership means we're moving from our hearts. We're realizing I am a leader in my realm. I am making a difference everywhere I go. We're just being a beneficial presence. There's a t-shirt out there, which I don't know why, it's my own work. I have a lot of resistance to it. I really don't like this t-shirt. It says, be a good person. And I don't know why I don't like that. I'm kind of like, what is that? Be a good person, right? But this morning, ironically, it made it into my talk as an example of being a beneficial presence. Like, just be a good person. Be as the best you can be. Just show up and give what you can give today and accept that that's enough. I did my part. I did something today. I contributed to someone's life today. I contributed to multiple people's lives today. I contributed to my own life today. I took care of myself. I got a massage, or I went on a retreat, or I went to a Sunday celebration service where I got uplifted, I got inspired, where I felt supported by community. I made a difference today. Like, think about if no one of you showed up today and just one person showed up, they would not have community. So just the fact that each of us showed up here today to create what we call community is making a difference. Because now we all get to have today the experience of community. If every one of us said, well, what difference am I going to make? If I'm not there, it won't really matter. No one will really notice. Where would community be? So every one of you who showed up here today created the experience of community that we're having here today. And I want to share one other thing about that, which is it can appear that when you come in here and you sit in the seat, that you're just a spectator. And everything's happening up here on the stage. There's musicians singing, there's speakers speaking, practitioners praying. And it could seem like all the action is up here. But it's not. A lot of the action is right out there. Do you ever have the experience of hearing a talk or hearing a song or hearing something in the service and you go, oh my God, that was speaking directly to me. It's as if that speaker or that practitioner or that musician knew exactly what was going on in my life and they were speaking directly to me. Anyone ever have that experience?
Yes.
That's because, it's a little secret, that's because you are co-creating the service. You know that little thing we call oneness? That we're all connected? And there's sort of one field of energy, one mind? It's actually true. So because we're all one field of energy right here, the reason why it seems like it's speaking directly to you is because you're here. And you're helping to create the service. Your energy helps to create the service. Your energy helps to create what actually happens here. Even me, I look sometimes and I go, why did I say that? That wasn't in my notes. And it's like, oh, Sue, get out of my field. You're helping me create the service here. What are you doing in there? You know, and it's like, of course you're in there. You're here. You're a part of it. You're creating it with me. We're all creating this. We're all creating everything that's happening. So when you go home to your family, your community, your supermarket, wherever you go today, recognize you are in this web, this field, this energy, and you're helping to create what that is. What's that going to be in a supermarket today? Is the supermarket going to be a loving, compassionate, peaceful place today? Or is it going to be something else? Is it just going to be this cold, sterile place where no one knows each other, no one's connected to each other, and no one really cares except to get their milk? Or their tofu, if you're me. You're creating what that is going to be. How powerful is that? You're creating what that reality is going to be. That one woman who went to that woman and said, "Could I give you a hug? Would you like a hug?" changed the whole reality of what the supermarket was that day. That's how powerful each one of us is. Just broaden that out to the whole planet. You are changing what the reality of the planet is today. What are you going to put into the field for the planet today, for the world today, for everything happening in the world? What are you going to put in the field? Because you're creating it, I'm creating it, we're creating it. So what kind of world are you going to create today? Let me ask, actually, I think it would be fun to ask that, actually. We're going to close in a moment, but what kind of world are you creating today? Tell me what kind of world you're creating today. Kathleen, what kind of world are you creating today?
A loving world.
Thank you. Sylvia, what kind of world are you creating today?
Forgiving world.
Yes, that's our new, by the way, that's our new, what do we call you? Our office manager. That's our new office manager there. Yes. Mikhail, what kind of world are you creating today?
A more curious and exciting world.
Yes. And Teresa, you know I'm about to call on you. Don't look away. You know I'm about to call on you. What kind of world are you creating today, Teresa?
Peaceful world.
Yes, you are. Isn't she the epitome of peace?
Yes, she is.
She is the epitome of peace. Yes, give her a hand. Yes. She is the epitome of peace. Jessica, I'm coming to you. What kind of world are you creating today?
A kinder world.
Yes, you are. You are. Isn't she creating a kinder world? Yes. And what kind of world are you creating today? A celebratory world. Yes, you are. Yes, you absolutely are. Donna, what kind of world are you creating today?
Cheese.
Donna is creating an oh geez world. Come on, Donna, you practice this teaching. What kind of world are you creating today?
A more abundant world.
Yes, you are. She's on our finance committee, and absolutely, she is one who practices these principles of prosperity. She has such a beautiful prosperity consciousness. Yes, you are creating a more abundant world. Florence is looking down. What kind of world are you creating today, Florence?
I would have to duplicate and say loving.
Yes, you are. You absolutely are. And let's do one more. Sean, you know you want to speak out. What kind of world are you creating today?
Healthier world.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Go out today and create the world of your choosing. The world that you choose, that this is the world I want to live in, so this is the world I'm going to create. Just plant those seeds. Don't save the world. The world doesn't even need to be saved. Just decide what it is, what seeds am I going to plant today? What am I going to put into the field? We're all connected, it's just one field. That's all it is. It's like a bowl, right? We have a bowl out there, and everyone puts something in. What are you putting in the bowl today? And that's the world we're creating, what each of us are putting in the bowl. Let's do it. Thank you. So let's turn within for prayer for a moment. Let's bring that into a prayerful space. And let us just know there is just one field. There's one energy. There's one divine source, one divine essence that has infinite intelligence, infinite wisdom, infinite love, wholeness, peace, and harmony, joy, bliss. That this is that one energy. This is the energy that lives and moves through and as each one of us. And so today, we take that energy, we take that empowerment, and we move about in our world, and we create the world of our choosing. We're not waiting to see what's going to happen in the world. We're choosing, what kind of world am I going to contribute to today? What kind of world am I going to create today? And it's making a difference. And so we bless every action, every thought, every word, every deed, all that we be, our feeling, our energy, our vibration. We bless everything that we bring to the world today and know it is making a difference and it is creating the world that we want to see. And so we just give thanks that we can make a difference. We give thanks that we are making a difference. And we give thanks that the world of our vision is being made manifest. And in great gratitude, we let this be, knowing that all is well. And we join together in grounding it with the words, and so